Emmanuel Macron has been brutally torn apart by a Brexiteer after the French president was said to want the EU to walk away without a trade deal and wait for the UK to return to the negotiating table in 2021 to beg for an agreement. The UK and EU remained locked in trade deal negotiations in London, which stretched deep into Friday evening in a desperate bid to make a breakthrough that could secure an agreement after Brexit. Michel Barnier and Lord Frost have paused talks with Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to hold a further showdown on Saturday in a bid to break the deadlock. There are fears trade talks are on the verge of collapse, with a senior number 10 source claiming on Thursday evening Brussels was calling for fresh concessions at the 11th hour and that the prospect of an agreement was receding. Significant gaps still remain, one of which is around the amount of access EU fishermen will have into British waters after Brexit and how much of their catch they will be allowed to keep. Mr. Macron has become an increasingly vocal voice in this debate, repeatedly lashing out at the UK's negotiating stance on the issue, and is believed to want the EU to walk away from trade talks with the UK in the hope Britain would return next year in a desperate bid to agree new terms. Brexiteer and political commentator Patrick Offlin launched a scathing attack against French leader and argued if he believed the British Prime Minister would beg, then Mr. Macron was far less astute than many give him credit for. Writing for the Daily Telegraph, Mr. O'Flynn said, "It is France, our nearest mainland European neighbour and favourite historical foe, that views our repatriation of national sovereignty as unconscionable." President Emmanuel Macron is said to believe that the EU side should walk away without a deal and then wait for a chastened UK to come crawling back desperate to agree terms early in 2021. Perhaps he envisages making Versailles available for the signing of the final accord, with a Brexit guilt clause prominent within it. If he genuinely thinks Britain is likely to buckle given an early taste of what no deal means, then he is a far less astute reader of international affairs than many have given him credit for. The truth is that were Britain to go into 2021 with a no-deal outcome, what the Prime Minister likes to call Australian trading terms, and to undergo all the awkward adjustments that would entail, there is almost no prospect of it later wishing to dilute its sovereignty gains in return for less friction in the trading system. For Boris Johnson to return, cap in hand as it were, to Brussels ready to enter new obligations on access to UK fishing stocks, state aid rules or enforcement mechanisms involving the European Court of Justice would be politically fatal to him.